The fall of Sean Diddy Combs feels like a movie so dark, even Hollywood wouldn't dare to tell it. Once praised for his style, his swagger, and his billion-dollar empire, it's all crashing down. Federal indictments pile up like scenes from a crime thriller, while whispers grow that Diddy wasn't just a flashy mogul. He may have been the mastermind behind one of music's deepest shadows. Prosecutors now link his name to racketeering, hidden tapes, and secret exploitation rings that could put him behind bars for life. Reports say his name appears nearly 50 times in sealed police files, connected to the Las Vegas ambush that ended Shakur's reign. And even as he pleads innocence in a New York courtroom, his former allies are finally breaking their silence.
That they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
Enter Gene Deal, the former bodyguard who saw it all, from armored convoys to penthouse nights. Now, he's dropped a revelation so explosive, it makes the charges against Diddy look like just one piece of a far bigger puzzle. Deal claims Tupac Shakur wasn't the reckless figure the media sold. He knew the setup was coming. He knew the bounty on his head was rising. And instead of waiting for death, he staged his own escape. Deal insists Tupac transformed his outlaw image into a survival plan, outsmarting his killers, disappearing from America, and beginning life under a new name. The shocking twist, even Diddy, who believed he had erased his greatest rival, was deceived. According to Deal, Diddy's crown may have always been a lie, while his enemy lives on, hidden in the shadows.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
The signs were always hiding in plain sight. Fans dissected Tupac's album Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, with its haunting subtitle and the cryptic line, Exit Shakur, Enter Machiavelli. They pointed out that Machiavelli, when rearranged, reads Am Alive K. For years, critics dismissed it as dark artistry, just a young man consumed with death. But what if it wasn't? What if it was a code? Tupac had studied Niccolo Machiavelli's lessons on deception and survival. Maybe the album wasn't a farewell, it was a blueprint for escape. Then came the strange clues. A coroner's report listing him at 6 feet, 215 pounds. When friends swore he was 5'10", 168. The autopsy photo, blurry, suspicious, never felt real. And the cremator? He retired instantly and vanished. Did he help stage the swap? Was the body even Tupac Shakur's at all?
And then what's the stuff that's happening with Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection to?
Of course!
The stories only grew the deeper you looked. Former bodyguard Michael Nice told TMZ he helped smuggle Tupac Shakur out after the Vegas shooting. He claimed Fidel Castro himself approved the plan, even setting up a body double to fool the world. Nice swore Tupac didn't die that night. He boarded a jet with Black Panthers, first to Barbados, then Cuba, where he shook hands and even took the co-pilot's seat. But before Nice could show proof, he vanished. Coincidence or a cover-up? Whispers followed. A man in Havana, bandana low, shades hiding his face. Others claim sightings in New Jersey, even Belize. Online, grainy photos placed him beside Beyonce or 50 Cent. Fake or too real to dismiss. From prison, Tupac once said, "Why you think nobody been arrested?" Because Tupac not gone. Even his mother hinted he chose silence. And the music? Each release sounded alive. Too alive.
Big went through their thing, and I was Big Man. That was the extent of our beef.
It all circles back to Gene Deal's warning. Tupac Shakur was never blindsided. He saw the betrayal coming. He understood what it meant to challenge an industry where moguls ruled like kings and enforcers lurked in the shadows. With millions on his head, he flipped the story. Machiavelli wasn't just an alias. It was a survival manual. Some believe he built a secret life, waiting for the right moment to return. Whispers speak of a body double in the hospital bed, a strange coroner's report, and a cremation rushed too quickly. The chaos outside wasn't confusion, it was theater. While Suge Knight stumbled out, wounded and dazed, Tupac was already boarding a plane, disappearing into the Caribbean night. And now, as Diddy stands accused of coercion, trafficking, and racketeering, the irony is sharp. He thought his rival was gone, but if Tupac still lives, Diddy's empire may crumble under the weight of that lie.
I'm sorry, I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck. During those years, you're still stuck 21 years later.
The contradictions, the confessions, the sightings, they all crash into one chilling thought. What if that night in Vegas wasn't the end at all? What if the bullets were only smoke for a vanishing act, planned with precision? What if Tupac Shakur has been alive all along, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment to return? If that's true, then Diddy's nightmare is just beginning. One thread refuses to fade. The Black Panthers. Tupac wasn't just a rapper in music feuds, he was born into rebellion. His mother, Afeni Shakur, carried the Panther legacy. His godfather, a militant organizer, lived in constant battle with federal agencies. With roots like that, a safety net may have been waiting when Los Angeles turned deadly. Insiders whisper that Vegas wasn't chaos at all. It was a cover, an extraction, pulled off by those who knew survival in the shadows. And if any network could do it, it was them.
So, Terrence Howard appeared on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David, and the episode, this premiered on April 4th. Definitely making the rounds because in this episode, Terrence Howard describes an interaction with Diddy where he says that he believes that Diddy was trying to have sex with him. Let's take a listen.
The theory sharpens when you remember his aunt, Assata Shakur, still one of America's most wanted. She broke out of prison and resurfaced in Cuba. If Assata could vanish from federal hands and find safety on an island that defied Washington, why couldn't her nephew do the same? Whispers claim the same underground channels that carried Assata later opened for Tupac. To the Panthers, this wasn't about rescuing a star. It was about guarding a legacy. Tupac wasn't just a rapper, he was their heir, their living symbol. Michael Nice swore he saw it himself. Tupac boarding a private jet with Panthers, heart racing. It was me, my brother, the pilot, Tupac as co-pilot, and 2 Panthers, he recalled. They took off like escapees chasing freedom. And the mission? It wasn't rogue. It was sanctioned by Fidel Castro himself on one unbreakable condition: silence forever.
Unfortunately, we're all going to take a disgusting trip to his seedy, awful world. You know, the man has no class. He has no kindness in his dark, dark heart. And he's depraved. That's my opinion. This is a depraved, disgusting individual about whom I wish to hear nothing after this trial is done.
The story reaches its darkest turn. Just as Michael Nice promised proof that Tupac survived, news suddenly broke that he was dead. To believers, the timing was no accident. Was it sickness, an accident, or a silencing designed to bury the truth forever? Even those close to him admitted the ending came too neat, right as his revelations threatened to explode. And when someone that close to the fire vanishes, suspicion doesn't fade, it multiplies. Before his exit, Nice left fragments that fueled the legend. A body switch inside the hospital, secret payouts to keep the illusion sealed, but double in the bed while the real Tupac disappeared into the night. He swore their jet landed first in Barbados, then Cuba, where the handoff was complete. If that's true, Vegas wasn't murder. It was theater. The Panthers supplied the muscle, Castro gave the refuge, and Tupac Shakur pulled off the greatest escape in music history.
Different things that's not really beef though. That's just competitive. Energy,
competitiveness.
All right. So you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really.
Exile is never as romantic as the whispers make it seem. For Tupac Shakur, a man driven by crowds, by energy, by constant reinvention, decades of silence wouldn't feel like strategy. It would feel like punishment. No stage, no applause, no rush of adrenaline. Only the slow erosion of identity. To survive in hiding, you must vanish. But vanishing can suffocate. If Tupac has lived in exile, the change would be deep. Psychologists warn that long-term isolation reshapes the mind. The person who enters it is rarely the one who comes out. Tupac, the fiery poet of the 90s, may have hardened into someone new, carved by solitude, secrecy, and paranoia. His rebellion might not roar the way it once did. Instead, it could burn quieter, colder. Not a firestorm, but a single ember, refusing to die.
Same thing for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people for sure on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures. And entertainers, business people. So, do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? Of course not. Of course not.
It sparks a chilling question. If Tupac Shakur stepped out of hiding today, would we even know him? Not just in the lines age carved on his face, but in the essence of who he's become. Could decades of silence protect the ideals that once shook the world, or twist them into something unrecognizable? The real shock may not be that he lived, but that survival transformed him into someone the stage could never hold. And that makes the stakes of his return even greater. Because what Diddy might face isn't the Shakur of the past. It's a version sharpened by exile. But why stay gone so long? If it was about safety, why not return once the storm passed? That's where the story turns back to Diddy. Some claim he delivered a brutal ultimatum: vanish or die. The millions whispered for Tupac's head weren't rumors. They were warnings. Forced to choose, Tupac chose exile. In cool irony, Diddy's hunger for power may have created one of history's greatest disappearances.
This gangster that behind the scenes is that him or is that
Shout out to Wendy Williams.
Imagine the irony. The mogul who believed he erased his greatest rival may have instead created the very conditions that allowed that rival to survive. For years, Diddy flaunted untouchable wealth, crowning himself king, while federal agents tracked his every step and accusers surfaced with chilling stories of fear and control. And through it all, beyond the spotlight, the man he feared most may have been there, watching, waiting, collecting evidence, preparing for the moment the world was ready to see him again. Now, the whispers grow louder. Some claim Tupac holds an arsenal in the shadows. Unreleased footage, hidden testimonies, even confessions that could tear down what remains of Diddy's empire. Others believe he's been patient, biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment when his return would strike like an earthquake.
I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background.
So here's the question that keeps millions awake at night. What happens if Tupac Shakur steps out of the shadows tomorrow? Would the sight of him, alive, unbroken, standing before a microphone, be the final strike that shatters Diddy's empire? Could he expose a secret history that rewrites everything we thought we knew about the East Coast-West Coast War? Or would his return unleash pure chaos, revealing how far the powerful went to bury the truth? If that day comes, it won't just be music history rewritten. It'll be cultural history detonated in real time. And maybe that's the nightmare haunting Diddy now, sitting in a cell as headlines close in. So what do you think? If Tupac reappears, does Diddy's empire crumble in an instant? Or does the world embrace a legend who fooled them all? Drop your theories below, and remember, stay sharp, stay curious, and we'll meet again in the shadows.